Hello, I am Ariana, a well-being and business coach, and I am here today with Yemado, my teacher in Boabom. Hi, Yemado, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Pretty good. Happy to be talking to you today.
Yes, it's nice to talk to you too.
Thank you. So, can you tell us a little bit about what is Boabom?
Sure. So, Boabom is an art of meditation and movement. And we combine ideas about self defense with relaxation, breathing, stretching, and meditation to create a system where we try to exercise the body and the mind together, um, and using the whole body and creating movements where we have to develop our coordination, our concentration, and our focus to really be engaged, um, and creating like a progressive class where we learn something new every class. And in this way, kind of creating this meditation in movement.
Right, so an art for meditation and defense and relaxation. Beautiful. Can you tell us about the school and the philosophy behind the teaching?
Yes. So the school here in the Boston School of Boabom, we've been here since 2004. Um, Boabom is a very ancient system. It has roots in ancient pre-Buddhist Tibet, and was taught for many generations as a family tradition there. Um, passed down through families for many years. And in only in the past, only this century really has it really been taught in an open way. But one thing we're trying to do at the school is, as like a community of teachers, to make Boabom accessible to anybody. And we work together with our school here in Boston and other schools around the world and other teachers around the world, um, to try to bring these ideas and make them available to anybody. And that's a big part of our philosophy, is this idea about being open, that anybody can learn. It doesn't matter your age, your nationality, your religion, your philosophy, whatever. Anybody can learn Boabom. Um, and we make sure that the way that we teach is something that anybody can learn also. So you always begin with beginners, and learn in a progressive way. Um, and that we try to keep our class sizes on the smaller side, so that uh, the teachers can always give their full attention to every student, um, and make sure that you can learn in a way that is respectful of your body.
Ah, beautiful. Yeah, the school is such a special place. Can you tell me a bit about the idea behind the decoration?
Yeah, so we have, you can see behind me, we have some symbols and we have some others around the school. And all of these are here to help us create this meditation, or this focus, and to help us build a positive energy that we're trying to create through the class. And really, we've spent a lot of time thinking about how we can build the school in and develop it in that way. So it's really gives us a kind of space outside of the everyday,
Mm.
outside of whatever the cars in the street and the news on our phone and whatever else is going on, to give us this kind of special positive place.
Yeah, definitely. And I understand that Boabom is a system. Can you tell us a bit about the other arts, all the arts inside of Boabom?
Sure. So yeah, there are different arts we call our different systems, or really different ways of learning inside of Boabom. And um, the first or the first one we talk about is Samhasani, which is like a gentle Boabom. It maybe looks a little like a Tai Chi, and combines elongated breathing with stretched out movements, um, gentle stretching, um, and kind of very fluid forms. And it's very good for relaxing, for developing the flexibility, the fluidity of movement. And also it's excellent for people who are trying to recover from injuries, because it's very low impact. But at the same time, it allows us to strengthen our joints, increase our breathing capacity. Um, and to develop this like gentle relaxation and release stress. And the faster art, the Boabom itself, or the Aushus Boabom, we call it, is the movements are faster, and they have this element of defense, where they can be strikes, blocks, evasive movements, and with the goal of creating a very good defense if we need. But also we do it without contact and without competition. And in that way, we can learn to defend ourselves in a space where we don't increase our stress, a space where we decrease our stress while we're learning. Mm. And then there's another art that we teach. We have others beyond this as well that work in different ways. But the third main art that we teach is called Yemado, and Yemado is like Boabom, but with a staff. And in the Yemado, we're learning to work and move our body, but with something in our hands, which gives a little resistance, helps build strength, and also helps build coordination in a different way.
So a lot to learn.
Yes, absolutely.
In my experience in practicing the arts, I felt that the breathing is so powerful, this combination of breathing and movement. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yes, absolutely. So the breathing in Boabom is particular to Boabom. I mean, there's only so many ways that we can breathe. So it can be similar to other ways, but it's like a whole system breathing. So it's not just a stomach breathing, it's not just a chest breathing or just a diaphragm breathing, it's a complete breathing. So we try to use the whole breathing system to really get as much air, as much oxygen into our lungs as possible and stimulate the lungs. Because the breathing system behaves like a muscle. If you stimulate it, it grows stronger. And so that's one of the fundamental ideas of the breathing. And we combine the breathing with all of the movements. So you're breathing through the class, and the breathing creates like a rhythm, almost like a music to the class. And this creates part of this meditation, part of this meditative atmosphere or ambiance that we try to create in the class. And like any kind of breathing, if we do, mostly we're not thinking about breathing. But as we think about breathing, as we put energy or focus into our breathing, we always decrease our stress, increase our positive energy. And by practicing this regularly through an hour-long class, once or twice a week, we'll make our breathing that much stronger and increase our positive energy, make our mood better, all of these different kinds of things. So the breathing is like the backbone of all of these things that we're trying to create.
Yeah, nice. And how does the defense part work?
So the Boabom, the fast, is a very effective defense. The strikes and blocks and steps, they function very well. If you need to use them as a physical defense, they can work. Obviously, it takes time. This is not something that we can learn in one class, but with time and practice, you can have a very good physical defense. But at the same time, we think of defense in a more holistic way. The next level or next idea would be like a defense against a physically threatening situation. So by practicing Boabom, by practicing strong movements, but without increasing our own stress in those moments, we can see a situation, we can come into a situation that might be physically threatening. But instead of going into our fight or flight, we can keep our vision more open, and maybe we can find a way out of that situation. And then the more universal kind of defense is like a psychological defense. And what I mean by this is that it's not very common that somebody comes to us in the street and tries to attack us. But every day we encounter all kinds of stress. We have responsibilities at work, responsibilities at home. We have the world, everything going on around us. You know, in some places in the world, we're lucky enough to be coming out of a year and a half of lockdown. And I think this bigger idea of defense is, how can we be more resilient in the face of external stresses?
Yeah.
How can we not take all of this negative stress? How can we not internalize it? How can we not do this? And how can we do this? And so the idea is twofold. One is that through the class itself, we release that stress through the movement, through the breathing. But on top of that, through the practice of this over time, we become less susceptible to this psychological stress.
Mm.
We'll still feel it, but we'll be better able to turn around, to breathe, and to come back to a place of calm, of focus, and of being centered.
Yeah. So in my experience, now that I've done Boabom for a few years, it's been quite beneficial physically and mentally. I had some back injuries, and I was feeling a bit lack of focus. And for me, Boabom, it's helped me a lot to feel better in my body, in my structure, and also to be more confident and more assertive when I'm just going through life in general. So can you tell us a bit about the benefits that someone might experience if they practice Boabom?
Yes, absolutely. And I think you've given a very good summary. While the particulars for you might be different for someone else, all of these ideas are going to be there. The physical idea about recovering from injuries. If we take the class, little by little, and do it well, we can recover from injuries by strengthening the body, by building flexibility, and by building our overall physical wellness. In Boabom, we try to use the whole body, from the toes to the eyes, and with that develop everything, and we can balance our body a little bit. So for example, if we're stronger on one side than the other, we can balance that a little bit. If we're stronger in the legs than in the arms, we can balance that a little bit as well. And in a very general way, because we're doing physical exercise and combining that with breathing, we're really stimulating the body in a very strong way. And by doing it with discipline, we develop the muscles, we develop the flexibility, and we are less likely to injure ourselves through doing the movements in a focused or a disciplined way. We can increase our breathing capacity, making ourselves just in better shape. Easier to go upstairs, for example, or to have more energy through the day.
Yeah.
These are just simple benefits from physical exercise. But one of the nice things about Boabom is that it's engaging, and so it's not monotonous, it's not repetitive. Because we're learning something new every class, we enjoy every minute of this physical exercise, of this stimulation of the body. And that also leads to some of the psychological benefits. We've talked a lot about, about decreasing stress. But we also have like a better mood that comes just from exercise, and from doing like healthy exercise. But we also, specific to Boabom, we have this idea about the meditation, and creating this meditation helps us to build focus, helps to make us more centered. And on top of that, we have this, you build your spatial awareness in a way through moving your body in space. You develop your proprioception, you develop your balance. And just this general awareness of yourself in space is very good for your mind. It's very good because you make new connections, and you deepen the connections between your physical movement, your body, and your mind. You deepen the connections between the hemispheres of the brain because we're coordinating the two sides. And so you really have a very broad range of benefits from the Boabom. And on top of that, like I said, you enjoy it. It's fun. I think most people I've ever taught have really enjoyed the process, and enjoyed the challenge of learning something new every class and really developing themselves. And one of the interesting things is that each movement, each class, we learn something new, And each movement is a challenge. It's not so easy that you can do it like snapping your fingers, but it's not so hard that you can't do it. It's a challenge that with focus, with practice, you can do it.
Mm.
And then after you've learned that, you learn something else. And the same, it's a little more challenging. But you understand it, you develop it, and you master that. And this leads, among other things, to that increased consonant, it leads, among other things, to that increased confidence or ability to assert yourself that comes with time and with practice.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, it's such a fun practice, above all. So if I'm interested to learn more, what should I do?
Yeah, so the best way to learn more is to try out a free intro class. We have them live free intro classes every week. Go to our website, bostonboabom.com. That's BOABOM, and just click the link there and sign up. And one of our very experienced teachers, myself or someone else, will teach you the intro class. And on our website, you can learn a lot more. But I really believe that the best way to learn about Boabom is by doing it. Because like anything with the body, we don't know it until we feel it. So I definitely recommend you try the intro class. And I hope that I'll see you in a class sometime soon.
I hope so too. So thank you, Yemado. It was a very interesting intro to Boabom, and it was a pleasure to talk to you today.
Thank you so much, Ariana. It was great to talk to you, and I'll see you at the next class.
See you in class. Bye.
Bye.